Hello, welcome to this update for Europe. Let's see what's happening. We have multiple systems to track, especially across Western Europe. There'll be a lot of heavy rain and storms, not everywhere, but in a few specific places. So we have still the remnants of a system in Southeastern Europe, with a few storms still in Greece and Bulgaria and Turkey. We have this old front across Norway, spots of all the way down to France, and this new cold front in the Atlantic there, with like some storms just north of the Azores. And now it even looks beautiful because it's almost sunset there in the satellites. So here, let's see the European model shows still some storms in the southeast, in that front like near France and Norway, the UK, and this new low pressure in the Atlantic. So today's Monday, the 10th, shows potentially a few storms in the Azores. Be aware tonight and Tuesday, and it shows more rain reaching Ireland and the UK by Tuesday morning, potentially, and more rain there throughout Tuesday. And then this starts reaching the northwestern coast of Spain by Tuesday afternoon, with a few storms on Tuesday afternoon. This goes, but especially as we get into Wednesday, more rain continues in the UK and goes into Norway. So that's our second system. The first front is already in northern Norway and Sweden and Finland, with a lot of snow and some freezing rain spots of Sweden as well. So be careful with that first front. And then the second front will go deeper into Norway with more rain and snow as well. Wednesday, Thursday still shows snow there in Scandinavia. Thursday, especially continues in northern Scandinavia, and some localized freezing rain as well. And then this is Thursday the 13th, still more snow there, continues for Finland, that low pressure system snow, and likely some cold air advancing behind it. Friday, still the snow moves into Russia, and some snow near the coast in Norway until Saturday. So a lot of active weather coming there, particularly cold and snow. So be careful going down to southern Europe. Shows tomorrow, Tuesday, the front in northwestern Spain and Portugal. And then Wednesday, it continues, especially like noon until Wednesday afternoon, shows more rain. There's some heavier storms in Spain and Portugal. Wednesday, Thursday, the rain continues across Portugal and Spain. This never ends, it just continues. Thursday, Friday, more rain throughout Western Spain. Friday, and shows by late Friday a thing or two in Eastern Spain, but it continues on the West in Portugal. So Saturday, a part of that tries to go into France by Saturday morning, and the Alps and Italy, but most of the action still around Portugal and Spain. Saturday, this goal still shows more rain southern Spain and Portugal Saturday night and Sunday, especially Sunday morning. And then this goes, and eventually by next Tuesday, potentially shows more in eastern Spain or the rest of the Mediterranean by the 19th, but that's still a long ways out. So be aware in those areas. And in the east, there's these storms now. And then Tuesday, this goes further into Russia, some rain. It leaves the Balkans and shows like maybe a snow or two in the Caucasus and finger two in Cyprus and Egypt. So Thursday, Friday still shows around the eastern Mediterranean, some rain and a few storms. In Israel, spots of Syria, a few storm or two, especially in Cyprus. Saturday, Sundays, this keeps spinning around there, and potentially later next Sunday, some snow or even ice in the Balkans on the 16th, but that's still like 1 week away. So be aware in those areas. The dangerous thing that's going to happen here is the amount of rain going towards Spain and Portugal. So shows like spots northwestern Spain and northwestern Portugal, some 161 millimeters, in spots in Galicia even to 182. That's close to 200. So please be careful. Even Lisbon, like 96 millimeters in Lisbon, only until next Saturday. So please be careful in those areas. A few spots in western Spain as well, like in the far west, some 170 millimeters, in the south, in Gibraltar, more as well. But in the east, until Saturday, barely shows a thing, just further northeast. So be aware. If I put it until the 22nd, already shows more on the west and some rain on the east. but most of the action will be on the west. So be careful. Those areas that the GFS is even a little bit more, northern Portugal, and the icon has even like 188 in northern Portugal. So please be careful this rain and be careful of occasional flooding possible with this as well. Now for like the wind gust shows tomorrow Tuesday, right? Some damaging winds in northern Portugal and Spain, especially northwestern Spain and the mountains in extreme northern Spain. There are spots in the northern Pyrenees as well, but especially there in Galicia into those northern mountains. So like even to like 108, 109 km per gust in a few areas and more around the Pyrenees as well, especially offshore there near the Atlantic, Spain and Portugal. So be careful and still shows some strong gusts by Thursday, the 13th in the Pyrenees and a few spots there, some mountains in central Spain, but this time shows over more areas in the Pyrenees, including France and Andorra by Thursday. In Lisbon should have some strong winds. This is Thursday night, shows most of Portugal, some strong winds again, and spots there in northern Spain, some 113 km per gust. Then Friday might get higher in the Pyrenees, shows like to 112 km per gust. A few areas, this might change still, it's just a forecast, but that there's a high likelihood. The icon is like very strong, but the GFS is in another universe, it barely has winds there, so we'll see what happens, but most of the models are showing some strong winds. So Saturday, Sunday, the winds calm down. So be aware those areas, and let's just see here. Entonces, esta semana va a haber mucha lluvia y viento en Portugal y España, principalmente el norte de España, en los Pirineos, más viento y lluvia fuerte en Portugal, Galicia, sur de España y otras zonas así. Casi esta semana toda. Precauciones. So stay safe there. And let's see for snow now, because that's a very interesting topic. So here in Southern Europe, today's Monday, so until next Saturday, that doesn't show really that much. Shows like 0.5 in the Pyrenees, not much. If I put it until the end of the run, it really doesn't show much. A few days ago, the GFS was like showing snow in the Mediterranean, but today is not showing anymore. The GFS is more in the mountains the end of this month, but the European is barely anything. So we need to see what's happening in the European. But further east, even some areas like some more areas that are not even mountainous in Central Europe, like Czechia, might get some snow. The European is even showing like in Prague, most of Austria and Switzerland might get some snow next 5 days. So be aware those areas, some 14 centimeters, even down to Croatia, spots in western Ukraine to Slovakia. So be careful in those areas. Shows like a tiny centimeter or two in the Scottish Islands, and yeah, and more in Turkey, like spots in southern Turkey, especially in the mountains, central Turkey, a little bit in the western Caucasus, even like Lebanon a tiny bit. And rainfall next 5 days shows higher in the Mediterranean around Cyprus, spots there in the ocean more than 100 millimeters, but in the island itself close to 27 to 50 millimeters. Some in northern Egypt and Israel, and shows more in Turkey, more scattered rainfall, and spots around Central Europe, some rain. Areas the Mediterranean still dry, but if I put it until the 20th, already gets a lot wetter in the Mediterranean from the 16th to the 20th, but only until the 15th, where it shows most of UK and Ireland, more rain, and spots there across Central Europe, and more across the coast of Norway as well. Some 80 millimeters or more, spots in Finland, and be aware. But snow, there'll be a lot there in the north. So this is an interesting section. Show like more than 30 centimeters of snow northern Sweden to Norway in the next 5 days. Norway is even like to 67 centimeters, close to 85 in some mountains in southern Norway, and most of Finland, so like 90% of Finland might get snow in the next 5 days. especially northern Finland, more than 30, 40 centimeters. So be careful. Northern Norway shows across Russia, a good chunk of northwestern Russia, more snow, some some sprinkles in Estonia, northern Latvia, in some spots, even Lithuania, but especially like into Norway, Finland, and Sweden. Be careful. The snow, the GFS is similar, it's slightly different. The GFS is more in Estonia, some in southern Sweden, and the other areas are quite the same. The Argo has this area for central northern Finland into Sweden with some higher accumulation. So be careful in those areas and just know that a lot of snow is coming and potentially some ice and west eastern Iceland, a little bit of snow as well. So be careful in those areas. The long range does increase a little bit, but that's still uncertain. So be careful in those areas. And for wingers, might be quite windy a few spots in the north as well. Like Tuesday, in between the UK and Ireland, especially in Wales, there's some high gusts near the coast. So Tuesday into Wednesday, some more gusts there across the North Sea and near the Faroe Islands as well. The low pressure is way down there in the Atlantic. Then Thursday, show like further north there, a few spots in the Arctic Ocean. Friday, and then this really comes down. Shows like spots in Finland, into Sweden and Norway, some higher gusts, even close to 100, right? In the Arctic Ocean, more than 100 km per gust. Friday morning, then this comes down to Finland, shows some nasty gusts in the coast of Finland and in the bay there, and shows more further south near Estonia, but especially over the water. And then Saturday, the winds go further east into Russia, and still shows wind in a few areas near Norway there and the North Sea. So be aware Sunday the 16th and later still shows us a few areas quite gusty, nothing too extreme. So be careful in those areas and stay safe. So you might be wondering, what are the temperatures? So now, as you might have felt, right, it's much colder in many spots of Europe. Shows like in the Alps, it's some negative temperatures. Same thing on the Pyrenees, the highest terrain in Slovakia, more spots there, and even the Caucasus into Turkey, very cold. Even some lower elevations, like some 10 degrees on the coast, spots of 2 degrees, and even Czechia 5, 3 degrees, more spots there. So be aware. During the afternoon warms up a little bit, like 13 to 18 degrees on the coast. Extreme southern Spain is above 20. And then shows like Tuesday does get colder Central Europe. Spots there's some -3, -7 the Alps, but all over southeastern Europe, some scared negative temperatures, even 2 degrees in Prague. Spots there across Montenegro, some 0, -1 in the Balkans, more spots there. And there in Spain, still around some 8, 5 degrees during the night, and the high elevations even to like 0, -1, 11 degrees on the coast. And Italy, a similar thing, but slightly colder in the Alps and like central Italy in the mountains. So Wednesday afternoon kind of warms up a few areas, but already starts getting colder. Shows there's this cold patch invading Eastern Europe from Russia, some negative temperatures around Western Russia into Belarus, and like across Romania, spots there in Kosovo, into Montenegro, especially Montenegro and Serbia, some -3 in the mountains, northern Montenegro, spots in Slovakia there, into like the Alps, especially in the Alps, and more spots. France is still mild in a few spots of France, but like Norway, Sweden, most of Norway shows some active temperatures, central to northern Sweden, and northernmost Norway there, northern Finland, into Iceland. Iceland is like very cold already. So Thursday, slightly warmer across western France, but still cold in the Alps and Romania. Most of Scandinavia is deep frozen. Shows spots there in Finland, some -2, 4 degrees, in the south around 1, 2 degrees. So Thursday, Friday, one patch of cold air kind of separates itself and goes into Russia, even to -10 central northern Finland, -12 in Norway. And then Friday, that area goes into Russia, and then this big intrusion of cold air comes as far south as Germany by Saturday, shows some -3 in Denmark, big part of Russia, and basically 100% of Norway and Sweden below 1 degree during the night, even to -10, Finland as well by Saturday morning. The afternoon kind of warms up in the south, but still look at this like Poland, Belarus, the Baltics, very cold, even like in the evening. This is like 6 p.m. So show spots in the Alps, still cold in the Mediterranean, still moderate. But like this is northern northwestern Russia, -15 even. So Sunday morning, the 16th is already showing like down to Slovakia, selective temperatures, most of Central through Eastern Europe, spots there. And let's see here. So especially during Sunday morning and later Sunday afternoon gets better, but like Sunday night into Monday morning already shows again this big patch of negative temperatures for Central Europe. So let's try to refresh this. So Monday morning, this area around Croatia, Germany, France, some frosts already starting, especially like some areas that have not already been this cold, and be aware some wind chills and some frosts as well. And the UK already some active temperatures coming as well, especially there across Scotland, northern Scotland and Ireland, especially during the 17th. So let's refresh this, like the 17th in the morning, even like 1 degree across London, spots across central UK, Birmingham, so -1. So be ready next week. And then this is next Tuesday. We'll see the long range in a second. Far southern Europe is still calm, but we might need to watch later this month. So let's see here the GFS for later this month shows like there are some above average temperatures the middle of this week for Western Europe and Central Europe, and believe it or not, they do call it above average. So there's that wave of cold air in Scandinavia by Friday, and it a part of it goes into Russia, and later by next Monday, the 17th, a part of it goes into Central Europe, especially like Central Western Europe. This is Tuesday, the 18th, shows some below average temperatures, Central Europe, and then later there's this wave of above average that just comes in, and after that, that shows some above average at the end of this month, and later that might shift. So a few days ago, it was showing like a giant wave of below average at the end of this month, all the way to the southern Mediterranean, but now it's completely different. So just for you to have an idea, this changes a lot. So the European has a similar thing, these waves of cold air, mainly going from Scandinavia to Central Eastern Europe. But later, the European doesn't even have this reaching as far south as Spain. It just goes towards southeastern Europe, the wave of cold air. And later, that shows some above average, and after that, we'll see what happens. But stay safe, those frosts are already happening in Central Northern Europe, some very cold wind chills, and be careful. And just because it shows above average here, it doesn't mean it will be warm. It will still be cold, much of interior southern France and Spain, especially in the mountains. So be aware and stay safe. And let's see if there are any special things here. There's some weather warnings already across spots of the UK for rain, and Finland there for snow, like traffic weather warnings for snow, and some wind advisories as well. More rain alerts in northwestern Spain and Portugal. So be careful and warn others. Stay safe. Check any alerts in the links in the description, and feel free to ask questions. So stay safe.